Don't you just hate it when your corrupt board of directors is not going to save you from what's coming? Don't you just hate it when, a billionaire takes umbrage at the way that you treat them? Not to mention the fact that the billionaire in question is the richest man, well, the richest publicized man in the world. That's right, Elon Musk. And how about somebody else that you irritated by simply not providing a return on investment that is commiserate with what your brand's performance could be? Well, that's where Bob Iger seems to be finding himself these days. And I have to tell you, I'm here for it. This should be really exciting. So many things happened over the weekend. Let's get into it. First of all, I want to say thanks to myself for sponsoring me for this amazing video on Elon Musk and Nelson Peltz having a little public hug at a premiere for something called Lola. And again, I'm sponsored by myself, beachpunk.us. Check out the site for all your beach punk needs, which is, basically everything from apparel to sandals to slides to shoes to shirts, sweaters, hoodies, you name it. It's a lot of fun. Do check out the website, beachpunk.us. Of course, let's get into this story. This is coming to us from WDW Pro over at That Park Place, and they've been doing some great work lately. I think I have an article coming out over there today or tomorrow. And yes, we are talking buyout, but maybe not exactly that. We're going to talk about some disruption that should be happening any moment now and should have been happening for a long time, to be fair. We don't have to go that far back to recognize that the Marvels suffered from a lack of supervision on set. Well, that's not usually what ruins films. What usually ruins films is poor leadership on set and studio interference. And I would say that probably the Marvels, amongst most of the other failed offerings in Disney's Phase Bore and now currently Phase Dive, are things that are products of, their environment and their leadership and the culture that is Disney. But Iger basically says that it was supervision on set was lacking. And he admits that the studio has made too many sequels recently. Well, after making this particular note, what does he announce? Well, a slate of Pixar repeats. That's right. You're going to get Toy Story 12 and many other repeats of things that are quite stale now, like, Frozen 3. I imagine a lot of these products would have been relegated to direct-to-video sequels back in the day when Disney was also aware of the multiple avenues they could take to get profit. Now, they just seem to rely on one, and it isn't even very good in Disney+. But the CEO also is reportedly quite exhausted. This story coming to us on January 9th of this year. My goodness, he's overwhelmed after multiple box office flops. Well, Bob, these are all projects and films that you greenlit. This isn't even Chapek's fault, dude. This is all you, bro. Why is this happening? Well, because of the people that you put in place, Bob. You're not delivering on, everything that your company should and could have to offer. So you're being held accountable, Bob, by people such as the former Disney CFO saying that Bob Iger has systematically eliminated any potential successors. Well, of course, who would that be? That would be probably Jay Rasulo. But he's in his second term as CEO, and there's nobody there to fill the void if anything were to happen to him. Goodness forbid. He eliminated a lot of folks. Bob Chapek recently, but he eliminated Tom Staggs, Kevin Mayer, and Jay Rasulo, who are all somehow back in his orbit. And the new term is always there with the same questions. Who's going to replace this man? Well, his leadership has given us not very much since his return, and even prior to his exit, there was a lot of failure going on inside of the mouse. And now, to that effect, we're also seeing a bit of a mutiny, according to The Guardian. That's right, a little analysis piece there saying that mutiny at Disney, Bob Iger's fight to right the ship, faces showdown with shareholders. Well, let me tell you, He deserves it. And have you noticed a pattern to these articles? There's not a lot of good news coming out of Disney. There's an awful lot of bad, all in a very short period of time. He wished his colleagues smooth waters ahead when he parted back in 2021 after 15 years at the helm, which I would say was 5 years too long. But 11 months later, he was summoned out of retirement. No, he kind of forced his way back, leveraged his way back in, basically pointing to the fact that Chapek would probably reveal all the shenanigans that were going on inside of the company, which may still happen, especially after the political mess that Disney made in Florida. And, well, their losing case, as you all well know, is, going to be followed up on for another losing case, at which point they should just give up. Why they bothered in the first place speaks to something larger like delay tactics, and hopefully, 2-shower-a-day Bob is out of there before he becomes 5-shower-a-day Bob, because I have a feeling there's some rough waters ahead, including the fact that there are now pirates looking to clamber aboard his ship. That's right, activist investor Nelson Peltz. But I don't think that's all. We're going to get to that in just a moment. We're walking through this as Iger has enough antagonists for 3 Disney films. Well, that's right. There are plenty of people that are gunning for this dude. This was from December 18th, and we're not even talking about the expanded number of people coming at him. You got, obviously, Ron DeSantis highlighted here, Nelson Peltz, Elon Musk, but there are other shareholders that aren't happy, and there are other shareholder lawsuits that are underway. But let's get closer to the end here. As we see, Disney CEO Bob Iger replacement is predicted now. At least that's what experts say over here at Inside the Magic, saying that when it comes to Bob Iger, the CEO, who is known for having to return from retirement to save the mouse house. No, he didn't. He's really not helping. If anything, he's putting it in further crises. Chapek was the one that elevated the stock price near $200. Where's it at now? Under 100, Bob. How's that going, buddy? At least his second tenure could wrap up in 2026, but he'll still have his meat hooks tied into the company until 2030 or 2031, according to experts like Valiant Renegade. So I have a feeling that they'll be looking for a long time to replace this man, because he doesn't want it any other way. Right, Uncle Bob? Well, let's get to what's actually happening now. People who put their arms around each other and gave a good bro hug last night at the set, or I should say at the premiere, I guess, of Lola. So Elon Musk and Nelson Peltz embraced publicly just days ahead of Disney's next earnings call. Musk hints he might acquire Disney. Well, yeah, he kind of did. Thinking about companies I'm going to buy, he says. Well, we'll get into it. This is a great article. So, Bob Iger might want to order more ulcer medication. The richest man in the world, who had choice words for the Disney CEO, telling him to go fund himself at the New York Times summit, was just publicly embracing the man waging a proxy war for control of the Walt Disney Company. Well, let me sip my tea. Yeah, Lola went loca today. That's right, but not for the typical Hollywood reasons one might expect on a red carpet. Instead, it could be that Disney CEO Bob Iger is seeing red after a surely orchestrated public display of camaraderie was had between Nelson Peltz and Elon Musk. Indeed. The latter is, of course, the man who famously told those companies boycotting X, formerly Twitter, for advertising money that they could go fund themselves. That's right. He then turned to the crowd and said, "Oh, hello, Bob." Ooh, that's right. Referencing the condescending man who had just exited the stage in front of him. So, meanwhile, Nelson Peltz is the largest private shareholder of Disney stock that we know about, at least at this point. I wonder if we're going to see any filings of like a 13D or a 13G, which I think are the things that would basically fulfill the obligation of the 5% rule. If you start to hear about those things and the name Elon Musk and the company Disney all in one sentence, then you know it's on, by the way. So, yeah, Disney's is the world's greatest entertainment company, but each non-management director has watched as shareholder returns have lagged. This is from a tweet from Restore Magic or Restore the Magic, which happens to be Trian's public face for this campaign. Trian believes that Disney needs new, truly independent board members to restore the magic. I agree. And collectively, this is a good point. The current board owns less than 15 million in Disney stock. Not terribly invested, to be sure. Now, of course, let's take a look at, every other thing else here, including the people who are involved with the underperformance of this company. And because of the years of tenure of Ms. Carolyn Everson, she's only responsible for a 26% decline. The balance of these other folks have, I should say not decline, but underperformance. These other folks have had significantly more and dangerous impact. Yeah. So there was the biggest bombshell. Obviously, it was Elon Musk joining Nelson Peltz on the red carpet of the Selena Gomez Lola film, and was hinting that he was friends with friends. Nelson Peltz a friend, and thinking about companies to acquire. Well. If only I had a lot of overdone eye makeup and a blonde wig. Anyway, if there's anyone who has deep pockets or pockets deep enough to actually help Peltz take control of Disney, it's Elon Musk. And there's little doubt in the timing of all of this, considering that the next earnings call is later this very week. That's right. It's hard to imagine Bob Iger having the earnings call now without even a question about this possibility. Oh, I think there's going to be a question, and I think it's more than a possibility. And I think he's dropping bombs, according to Scott Polomus, who actually dropped this on Twitter/X. Check out his tweet here if you'd like to see more. You see this outline of a man back here? That would happen to be Elon. Excuse me. You see this outline of a man right here? That would happen to be Nelson Peltz. And Elon basically said, it's on. Look at this picture. Isn't that great from Doge designer Elon Musk at the premiere of Lola in Los Angeles today? That's glorious. So the public appearance of the two most prominent men wishing for a change at Disney comes just 6 days after Musk had called for change of leadership at Disney. The CEO of SpaceX and Tesla said current leadership of the company was destroying it. Well, I agree. You probably do too. And he said the statement seemed to be prompted by a new disclaimer that Disney had placed on its animated classic Aristocats. That's right, because we have to protect all the little gentle butterflies that exist in the world that used to formerly be humans. That's right. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. All I know is this, that, I mean, Musk's net worth, just as an individual, is greater than the entire net worth of Disney. That's interesting. And one doesn't have to even come close to reaching half in order to orchestrate a group of partners coming together to take power. That deserves a sip of tea. So given what Musk has done with Twitter, which is rather remarkable in my opinion, it is likely that he and Peltz would be interested in moderating Disney and having the company cease divisive content production. Could you imagine immediately pulling the plug on all the garbage out there? I mean, Disney's already signaled that it's trying to moderate all the messaging. It's not abandoning it, of course, but it's going to try to temper it a little bit because, well, I mean, box office bombs galore, plus people not all that interested in content they're producing on Disney Plus. And we're in an era where people's paychecks doesn't go as far. Thank you for getting us here back to the Jimmy Carter era, but we're not a political channel, so we'll leave that alone. But If the two are able to get Disney back on track, there's no telling what the stock price would do. Well, I think we'd easily get back to its near $200 amount, which Chapek had it up at. But could it get beyond that? Oh, quite possibly. Oh, I find this one fascinating, folks, and I think there could be some SEC filings in the near future. You can check out the entire article by the great author WDW Pro, who's also a content creator, a friend, and just a darn nice guy. But that Park Place is a good place to find all these types of stories and more with a little less pixie dust than what you'll find at any of the other locations that I could mention, such as some of the ones that I even used in this video. Anyway, the question is, what do you think? Do you think that Musk is trolling? Or do you think that there's more to his casual mention than meets the eye? After observing Elon do some pretty amazing things after saying some pretty ridiculous things, I have a feeling there's a reason Uncle Bob isn't going to sleep. I think Musk is coming for you, dude. And, Peltz and Perlmutter and several others are going to help. Oh, and set aside that voting campaign site that Disney put together rather quickly, telling you which card to vote. And their slogan seems a little racist. Vote white. Well done, Disney. Just exposing yourself again. On that note, let me know what you think about this in the comments section down below. I'm here for it. This is the kind of schadenfreude that really doesn't have an equal. Anyway, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya.